Hi, everybody. Thanks again for being here for Chicago Baseball Educational Academy's Winter Conversations. We are here today with members of the Beckum Stapleton Little League from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I am here with the president of the Beckum Stapleton Little League, James Bray, and the vice president, Randy Hogan, who also serves as director of programs for the Milwaukee Brewers RBI program. Gentlemen, thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, in Chicago, COVID has pretty much hit us in the hamstrings of playing baseball, and we're just trying to talk to people in different cities and learn about the challenges. But before we get into that, if I could just turn it over to you two to, tell us a little bit about your organization, how you got there, what you guys do, who you work with.
I'll start. Our organization was founded in 1964 by James Beckum. He's a former Negro League baseball player. Played for the Marines.
What team did he play with the Negro League?
The East St. Louis Giants.
Nice. All right.
That was like a traveling team.
Yeah.
And he was approached by his pastor from the local Greater Galilee Baptist Church. And the pastor said that the kids were getting into trouble, breaking windows in the alley, stealing from Gimbals, all these kinds of problems. And he wanted him to start a baseball program for the kids. And so after a few missteps, with the support of some 4 churches, he got a Little League program started in 1965. And they started playing in 64 and became Little League in 65. And so ever since then, he's developed from 4 teams. We went to a high of about 28 teams, and we're down around 20 now. But it's still exciting. And Jim Beckum will turn 92 in 2 weeks. And so we're preparing some video messages for him. So
awesome.
This will be one of them.
Oh, that's great.
So that's kind of our founding story. I've been involved with over 30 years since my son was 9, and he's now 45. So I started as a parent, and then bringing the kids to the games, and then as a coach, and then a board member, and finally I've been president on and off for the last 20 years.
Wow.
So I've been involved deeply with the organization, and I was coaching when Randy came through. So I'll turn it over to Randy.
Yeah.
And his story.
So I kind of came through the league. I actually didn't start like T-ball and everything at Beckum Stapleton Little League, but I loved baseball. My grandfather actually was a big baseball fan, Milwaukee Braves, Milwaukee Brewers. I attended a lot of games with him, and finally one day he got on my mother and said, take him down to Beckum Stapleton. Now, mind you, I had several older family members. If you're from the north side of Milwaukee, especially 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, Beckum Stapleton has always been a staple in our community. So I've had generations in my family that have played, from uncles to older cousins. So finally, my grandfather, who's like, wait, he's 11 now. Why? He loves baseball. Why isn't he down at the Little League? And so she finally got me signed up, and I think I finally got down there in 92, and played throughout the majors and juniors or senior league at the time. all the way up until high school baseball. Went off to the Marine Corps, very similar to our founder, Mr. Beckum. Kind of followed in his footsteps. We actually talked about this yesterday. Joined the Marine Corps, 17 years old, right out of high school. Got a chance to play a little bit of football and a little bit of baseball for different Marine Corps units. Got a chance to play against some Okinawa national teams in Japan. But then, 9/11 hit, and like that all came to a halt. And then a lot of my military duties became, first and foremost over sports. Fast forward to 2011, I got out of the military, was living here in Milwaukee, but decided, you know what, I'm moving to Arizona. I had two sons, I have two sons. And at the time, I felt like, Arizona was the place for me to be for baseball with my sons. And I would come home, every so often. But I would say around the third year of me living there, I would come back to the city of Milwaukee, and, I just noticed, less participation at the Little League. I noticed, a lot more violence in the city, a lot more, political, economic issues. So I decided to, really basically kind of be a snowbird. And I would come home, spring and summer, then go back fall and winter to Arizona. And then finally, I just said, I did that for 2 years, and I'm like, you know what? Nope. I got to go back home. I want to be hands-on, all year round and help out. So in about 2015, I came back, volunteer coaching. I actually began volunteer coaching the same team that I played for. I actually it was basically a turnover process from my original Little League manager, who was my first, one of my first coaches. He turned over that team to me, the Zimbos. Back when I was a kid, it was the Zimbo Braves, and now they're the Zimbo Grays. But I help, get other coaches and kids involved in that team, and then now, I wanted to help out on the, I guess, behind the scenes. I wanted to get involved in there. So I talked to Jim and some of our, different, board members, and got involved. And now here I am, vice president, helping Jim out as much as I can, as well as, trying to build the RBI program here in the city. So
That's awesome.
Yeah, just following in Mr. Beckham's footsteps. So.
Now, us in Chicago, sometimes I think we act like we're the only city around, and maybe we don't know so much about Milwaukee like we might think. Could you tell us a little bit about the neighborhoods you work in, and a little bit about Milwaukee, to maybe educate people from Chicago who've never been to Wisconsin?
Yeah, so I think, like we mentioned kind of in our pre-production meeting, the city of Milwaukee, very similar to West Side, South Side of Chicago. Predominantly African American. The Little League itself is based in 53206. Am I correct, Jim?
Yes, we have that whole area code.
Right. So, which is our original Black community, so to speak. And obviously, the population of the African American community grew outside of 53206 to 53210, and so forth and so on throughout the city. But like I said, still yet, the same things exist, when you look at the history of redlining and things like that from the 60s, 70s, 80s,
there's disparity, the disparity up there.
Yeah.
You're saying that word wrong, I think, and it's recorded.
No, but exactly. Yeah. I mean, the unbalance, kind of what we're facing today, I guess, in our society here in America, is just because things haven't been on a even playing field, I guess, so to speak, that, here we are, even in our justice system, we can go on and on, like we talked about before, but same things exist, the crime in the community, the underserved high schools, the underserved elementary schools, middle schools, underserved youth programs, the diminishing youth programs, the diminishing, trade and tech programs, STEM programs that aren't being supported. It's the same exact need that's in the city of Chicago,
Gotcha.
and that same similar demographic. I mean, exact same thing. I know it's kind of a running joke between, I'm friends with a lot of coaches in Chicago. And I've always known, other veterans that are from Chicago, and, they always say, oh, Milwaukee is our little cousin, so very similar. A lot of our population may have been people who've migrated from Chicago. And I know that for a fact. My fiance, she's from Chicago, from the west side of Chicago. And a lot of her family now lives here in the Milwaukee area. So, and that's, over the years, a lot of people have come from Chicago to the Milwaukee area.
So how many kids? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, there's a great migration from the South of African Americans from the South to the North. So Chicago is one of those cities, Detroit, Milwaukee, a lot of industrial jobs and trades that were needed here at the time.
So how many kids you all work with?
Well, we had about, in 2019, we were about 225 to 250, somewhere in there.
Wow. And that's just you multiple teams, you host the whole little league.
Yeah. That's from T-ball to juniors.
Juniors.
4 to 15.
Wow. And are all the families from the zip codes you were mentioning?
Yeah, within our little league boundary.
Pretty much. Yeah. You have to either live or go to school in those boundaries. There's a few outliers that we get special permission for, but there's very few of those.
Wow.
People right on the border, basically.
And you have an outdoor facility.
We have 5 fields, 1 90-foot bases, and other 4 are 60-foot. 2 of them, the 90-foot and 2 of the 60-foot diamonds, have lights. And then we have our indoor practice facility, which has 2 batting cages and a throwing lane. Nope.
That's all right. So you had all those fields going. How many teams?
There's roughly, I want to say 20 teams.
Randy, take it over.
Yeah, I got you, Jim. So yeah, roughly 20 teams in 2019, ranging from, like you said, T-ball to the juniors division.
And you had those fields and the smaller indoor facilities for them. Yes.
So, like here in the wintertime, it's a small space, very small space. We want to renovate and make it more functional. But we utilize it and we'll do, camps, clinics, open it up to the kids throughout the wintertime on a normal basis. They can come in and work on hitting, do some throwing. Like I said, not a whole lot of room in there, but they can, they got a lane to work on some pitching and do, small drills and things of that nature. So, yeah.
Well, talk to me about COVID then. How has COVID been for you guys, and what state are you in? What's the situation for you guys?
Right. So, Jim, I'm not even sure if we were waiting for clearance.
January 15th, we can now practice indoors.
Right.
Finally. And
so now we can start.
I had the first group in there practicing on Sunday, and we do masks, we do social distancing, and then I sprayed a facility down with disinfected.
What percentage of capacity are you guys operating at?
Well, we are at 25% capacity of the building, which is about 15.
Wow. So a fraction of what you're used to doing.
Well, what we could do. I mean, you can put a lot more people in there, but really with batting cages, that takes up a lot of room. Mm-hmm. And so you don't that's about what you would normally have in there anyhow.
Oh, so currently you're sort of going back to how programming might have been before COVID, with the exception of the cleaning and the masks and everything.
Yeah. That was just since January 15th.
So how long were you guys blocked from doing programming?
Since March of last year.
March.
Yeah.
We got permission in October.
Yeah.
To practice on our fields.
Outdoors.
But not play games.
Right. Well, same here. Yeah.
Right. So we were able to do some clinic work for fall ball. We got some of the kids out to actually participate in a local fall ball league. Yeah. And then, once the weather turned and being able to operate outdoors ended, we weren't able to use the indoor facility that we have, and now we finally do. So, but of course, operating under those COVID restrictions. So,
yeah, we were able to combine with suburban little league for fall ball. Now, because we were banned in the city from playing all year, and some of our kids were on traveling teams, and of course they were playing.
Yeah. Kids were playing all over the suburb.
Rank and file, we couldn't play until we got to fall ball, and that was, it's a reduced program, but those kids were so happy to see one another and get together finally to do something. They tore it up.
Has there been any safety concerns or cases, or have you guys felt that things have been safe so far?
Yeah. Well, the numbers going, here in Milwaukee and things like that. But, we were able to operate without, any outbreaks amongst the children we served. So yeah, that was definitely a plus for us to actually get the kids out there, get them going, and we were able to keep them safe. And there were no outbreaks or anything, like that reported amongst families.
How is support from the community and from funding? Are you guys in an okay shape to come back? What kind of concerns do you have moving forward?
I got a lot of concerns as far as just to be able to get the word out. We were working through the schools and the schools are all virtual right now. So MPS has been virtual. So we're going to have to come up with other ways of getting the word out and trying to recruit kids, recruit volunteers. We're starting from scratch. This really set us back.
Yeah.
Really? Well, how are you funded? Where does most of your fund from? Private people? Do you have some corporations or?
Well, yeah, we have some. We send out yearly fundraising appeal, and we get some funding from that. But and then the rest of the funding, of course, is from registration fees, and so that's pretty much.
Yeah, definitely not being able to have that revenue from last year, sort of like the funds, each year go to kind of support the next year, so to speak, and the following, the future. And with, not being able to operate, it's like that revenue that kind of helps support the league through, those registrations. I mean, it just wasn't there. Obviously no games to be played. So no registrations, no revenue. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we do have the Brewers have given us support over the years, and they do provide our uniforms.
Yeah, big shout out to the Brewers Community Foundation.
Yes. So we had the uniforms that they gave us for last year. We're good to go for this year.
Yeah.
So you're going to be able to do it. You'll be able to pull it off.
Yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
That's
Mr.
good.
Beckum has us in a very decent financial position.
Good.
I mean, we can't spend money willy-nilly, but we can function.
Yeah.
But
that's good.
I think the biggest problem will be to get to rebuild the organization.
Yeah, that and then, being able to get funds together to, we mentioned the fields that we have, those fields, actually, this is a funny fact that I think I spoke to you about this, Jim. The home plate that we have on our 90-foot field is the same home plate from when I was a kid. And you see all these grays here, probably 30 years ago, but it's the same home plate. We were able to do some renovations to the bleachers and, kind of upgrade the lighting systems over the times. But, obviously because of, some of the need in our community, we've had vandalism. We've had the homeless, using our dugouts and things like that for shelter at night. We've had, concession stands burned down, from the homeless trying to use the electrical systems that were in there. And, so, we need to rehab a lot of the fields and keep them up to par, keep them safe for the kids to play on, start to develop, potholes and things like that in the outfield. And, I'm pretty sure now, especially with it not being used as much last year, the county is doing the best that they can to, drag the field and groom the grass and everything. But we're going to need, new dirt and, things like that. So just, there's more expenses. Like Jim is saying, we'll be able to operate at a the basics. But just, it's always expenses in baseball. It's one of the most expensive sports. So definitely in need of more people to know about the Milwaukee Beckum Stapleton Little League here in Milwaukee. To continue to, if help support, like I said, we have a small indoor facility, maybe the size of a basketball court, a half court.
Wow.
So you've got like you said, 2 batting cages, chain link fence, with the old iron mic pitching machines. So we need to update that, kind of be able to use that space more efficiently. So we might need, the new hack attack machines that are mobile and you can move those things out. And instead of the chain link fence, having, the netting that can drop and, is retractable to utilize more of the open space. So just, it's so many things that we need to do to not, and for some, I guess it might be looked at as like, oh, these are extras. But in order for the kids in our community to basically, I could keep up with kids who are, playing in the suburban community and the rural communities that have these huge, $1 million facilities to practice in during the winter, that's just our need. We need to be able to keep up. So, or else, there'll continue to be a decline in the African American presence in baseball. because we'll continue to see kids from the city of Milwaukee get in front of recruiters and scouts, and somebody will say, well, he's very athletic, but his talent is wrong. We need the resources and coaches, actually sometimes the resources are actually what draws the coaches to come and coach and instruct. When you can be able to pay guys, or when you're able to, have a facility where, they can maybe earn a little bit, umping or doing instruction, hitting lessons or pitching instructions for kids. We can do more clinics, more, more things that'll generate revenue for the league. But at the same time, provide, quality training for the kids at little to no cost. We don't ever want to allow a family, to walk away because money is an issue,
Right.
So I know, Mr. Beckum has helped families personally. Jim has helped families personally. I've helped families personally. No kid walks away because money is an issue. So we want to be able to keep doing that. Obviously, I'm not made of money. Jim, if you got some money, extra money over there, you need to let me know because I need some. But as far as I know, Jim is not a millionaire or billionaire. So, we have a limited resources on our own to continue to help. So we need the community and those who want to further the game of baseball in the inner cities around the country to take note of who we are and help us out. And I think, Jim, are we the oldest Black founded Little League in the nation, or?
As far as I know, yes. Yes.
Yeah.
From our research, that seems to be true.
Yeah.
I'm certainly one of the oldest.
Yeah. If not, I'm waiting for somebody to stump us, to stump that, to debunk that fact. But I think that's who we are, and we need it. We need the resources to actually, it's just like if a kid played basketball or football, and they went to go play, and the court is horrible, they don't want to play there. If they go to play football and the field is horrible, they don't want to, they're not that eager to play there. So it's like the same thing with baseball resources, the fields and the, whether it's indoor, outdoor, whatever we have has to, one, be safe for the kids, and it has to be, up to parts of where the, kids want to come there, and so that's something that we really need help with improving and getting going. Like you said, it's almost like, rebuilding from scratch. Yeah.
How's the community fared with COVID? Has COVID had an impact on your neighborhoods and the community?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Me myself, I just lost a grandmother. She 90 years old, so she had a long, full life, but she did, develop COVID symptoms, and and passed. Had several family members who, in and out of the hospital. Some, everybody else has been fortunate to still be with us. So it's definitely affected my family and several other, families in the community. So, it's a real thing. It's a real thing. And again, like I said, my fiance is a physician. She sees the numbers. She's treating people who were once hospitalized, or had symptoms, and were, quarantined for long periods of time, or, and so now they're seeing her for aftercare. And, some people just, still having, issues with breathing after, now being negative. So it's a lot to take in. It's a lot to take in.
How big is your guys' board?
Well, that's a good question. We have about a dozen people.
Yeah.
It's not a fixed amount, we try to recruit people to do specific things.
But you have a team. You have a team
of
people.
Yeah, we have a team of people.
Yeah.
All, mostly everyone, works full time. So but we have a team that is active and doing strategic planning and fund campaigning and things of that nature.
That helps. And no paid staff?
Yeah.
Pay staff.
No, it's all volunteer at this point.
Wow.
The only thing, we pay the umpires a stipend, but it's, my joke is that we underpay our umpires.
Yeah.
We give them $25 for a game, big, it isn't.
Yeah.
It's really food and transportation costs.
Gotcha. Randy, I meant to say, I'm sorry to hear about your grandmother. That was,
Thank you.
I'm sorry to hear that. So do you feel optimistic for the future? I mean, I know there's challenges and it's not going to be magic, but are we optimistic? Are we feeling optimistic for the future of baseball in Milwaukee?
Well, I am actually having a conversation with Mr. Beckum yesterday. I think just because of some of the, like you said, COVID, and it's just been depressing, to quite frankly speak on 2020 and now the beginning of 2021. We actually lost one of our kids to gun violence during the quarantine. Just it weighs on you, as a coach, as a community organizer, and dealing with the youth and families. I kind of felt that weight, and I asked Mr. Beckum yesterday, how do you keep going? And just having a conversation with him and just seeing his passion to want to see his legacy continue and to continue to see youth baseball grow, that was my motivation. To continue to see the game of baseball grow in the Milwaukee community and amongst the African American community especially. That motivates me, and with that motivation, I can only be optimistic, because I know it's not just me, but like he said, we've got that dozen, people on our board that feel the same way, that want, and there's many more people obviously behind the scenes who want to see Mr. Beckham's legacy grow and want to see the game of baseball in our community grow. So we're going to continue to do the work, and knowing that we have a team and hopefully just, hey, doing this talking with you, this is just more motivation to continue. So yes, I can be nothing but optimistic with that type of motivation. So.
I agree. I am optimistic too. Realistically, we have big challenges, but right now we are thinking big. And actually, on our agenda, we have a planning committee currently working on, and our goal is to start up baseball academy in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Very similar to yours. And so in that respect, we're thinking big, we're thinking for the future, and we just believe that baseball can really help this community. And
yes.
It's core to it, and and by marrying baseball and education and spiritual needs, we can we can develop our youth, and that's our real goal, is to develop our youth. Develop the youth of the community. Not just to be Major League Baseball players, which would be great, but to be Major League citizens. And become like the generations that have come through here. Look at Randy and his teammates. They're many of them are college educated. They're many of them are professionals, and then you got policemen, you got
Aldermen.
construction workers. You got all
Yeah,
kinds
we-
of people
aldermen,
that are
police
contributing
commissioners,
to
pastors,
society.
yeah, business owners, entrepreneurs in the community, all have come through Beckum Stapleton Little League and have gone to be productive, citizens in the community. And we want to continue that.
Well, fellas, I think that's an excellent note to end our conversation on. So I wanted to thank you both very much. We'll definitely tag your link on the video when we share it and give some info to folks. I definitely enjoyed speaking with you. So thank you guys so much
Thank you for having us.
for joining us.
Yes.